we will be looking at visual hazards. The 6 topics for vision are lighting, glare, scan your path, magnify, visual contrast, and texture contrast. The first thing we will be looking at is lighting. One of the most common reasons that someone can have a fall is related to there not being enough light. Without enough light, someone cannot see the tripping hazards that are in their way or where they are trying to go, which could lead to a fall. And this is why it's very important to bring in more light. You might ask yourself, well, how do I bring in more light? Or where should I put more lighting in my house? And the answer is going to be everywhere. Next to furniture, dark corners, anywhere you can think of, you should be putting more lighting so that it's easier for you to see in your house. Another place to add lighting is in the bedroom. And this can be with a lamp on the nightstand or even having a flashlight on the nightstand, but it needs to be in a place that you can easily reach and turn on the light without having to get out of bed. So for in this picture, she has a kind of a unique nightstand, but this little cord right here is easy for her to reach while she's in bed, and she also has a flashlight in case she needs to use that as well. One of the most common times to fall is when someone is getting up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, so it's important to learn how to safely get out of bed. When you wake up and you realize you need to use the restroom, you should turn on the light that is next to your bed and easy to reach, just like she's doing right here. She can reach that light without getting out of bed. Then you have to get to the edge of the bed, so you're sitting right here with your feet over, and you want to make sure your feet are planted on the floor and you can steady yourself. And then take a minute or two to let your body wake up and be alert enough to safely get to the restroom without falling. Night lights are an easy way to add light because you can put them anywhere there is an outlet, like in hallways or bathrooms, and a nightlight will increase visibility so you can more easily see where you are going, like in a bathroom. And even some night lights are motion activated, so it'll turn on when it detects any movement. Even when you are cooking, it can be unsafe when it's hard to see exactly how you are using your knife, such as when cutting your vegetables or breading your bread. So, putting lighting underneath cabinets and counters will increase your visibility to see exactly what you are doing. And without having enough light in your kitchen, you will be unable to see if there's any water on the floor or if you spilled something when you were draining the pasta, which could lead to a fall. Since water on the ground is very slippery and without light to see it, then it's going to be a very big fall hazard. Another question you might be asking yourself is, what kind of lighting should I get? Now, the 2 different types of light bulbs I'll be talking about is the LED versus the fluorescent lighting. Now, one of the most common ones is the fluorescent light bulb, which I just circled here. It's more of a yellow color, and with a fluorescent light bulb, it gets hot a lot quicker and it has to be replaced a lot more frequently. And because it's a yellow color, it diffuses the light, which means it spreads it around a lot farther around the room, but it makes it a lot harder to see things because it has dull shadows. With the LED light, in contrast, over here it's more of a white light versus a yellow light, and it has more of a cool color, which gives high contrast to the room, so it's a lot more easy to see things that are lying around or in your room. And because it's an LED bulb, they're made of more plastic material, so if you drop it, it's less likely to break. The next topic we will be looking at is glare. So a glare is when there is a bright light or a strong shine that usually causes you to squint, like in this picture right here. And there are steps that we can take to prevent that, because we want to make sure that you are able to see where you're going and a glare isn't in your way when you're trying to get to the couch or wherever you're trying to go. So we have to understand about natural lighting, and that it comes in through our windows because of the sun, and as the sun moves throughout the day, we need to adjust our blinds so that there is no direct light to cause a glare. And if you don't have any blinds, then it's going to be a really good idea that you get some so that you can adjust how much light is coming through. Now we are going to look at scanning your path. Scanning your path means looking at the walkway of where you are now to where you want to go, or the destination of where you want to end, such as when you're in the living room and you want to go to the kitchen to get a sandwich or something. Scanning your path means you're going to look down and to the sides of where you're going to be going, and you can ask yourself, is there anything that I could trip over? Like in this picture, it could be the dog toys, magazines in the living room, on the floor. The next question is the floor slippery or wet, like in the kitchen? And this could be when you got some water on the floor while you were filling up your cup with water, or in the bathroom, it could be after taking a shower. And the next question is, are there any objects that I need to walk around? And this could be something like furniture. Another common fall hazard is going to be your pet, because they can easily get caught underfoot and cause you to trip. So one question you want to ask yourself when you're scanning your path is, where is my pet? Now, you want to make sure you're looking down to see where they are, but another sense you can use other than your vision is going to be your hearing. And you can do this by having a little bell around their collar. That way you have another sense to use in order to see where they are and locate where they are in your home. The next topic is going to be magnify. When you're having difficulty seeing or reading, you can use tools that magnify. So some examples include when you're checking for side effects on the back of your medication, you can use a magnifying glass to see the small print and read if you are experiencing any of those side effects. Or when you're cooking, you can print out high contrast and large print recipes to more easily see what ingredients you need. Other magnifying tools include this magnifier, which makes it a lot easier to read because it has this red line through it, so you know which line you're reading, and it magnifies that print so it's a lot larger. And if you are using reading glasses, you want to make sure you're not using them while you're walking, because it can distort your perception, which could lead to a fall. This topic is called visual contrast. Visual contrast is when there are two different colors that can easily be differentiated between each other because one color stands out from the other, and this helps to identify one item from another item. Now, an example of two different colors are going to be white and black. An example of not having visual contrast is in this picture, where there is a gray rug on a gray floor, and it's hard to see where the gray rug meets the gray floor. And especially when you're getting into the shower, you want to be aware of where the rug is so that you're not tripping over it. And when it's the same color as the floor, it can be difficult to see where it is. When there is a white on white background, it can be difficult to distinguish where something is, such as a white light switch on a white wall or a white outlet on a white wall. And one way to add visual contrast is by using electrical tape. And electrical tape comes in a variety of colors such as black, blue, red, pretty much any color you could imagine. And for this example, I used blue, and for the light switch, I just put the electrical tape on the area where you would push to turn on the light, and for the outlet, I put it around the outlet switch plate. So for both of them, it's very easy to locate where I would need to plug in something or turn on the light. Electrical tape, it can easily be taken off, but if you want something that's more permanent, you could also use paint as another option that's more permanent, and you can unscrew the light switch plate, paint it a different color other than white, and it's still another way to easily locate where the light switch is. Another way to add contrast is with reflective tape. Now in this example, I have the reflective tape on a remote, so it's a lot easier to find when it's reflective, and even having a paracord attached to it that's a very contrasting color to all of the neutrals that are in the living room, it can be very easy to find where the remote is rather than trying to look everywhere and never being able to find it. Another way to use something that's reflective is with reflective paracord. If you're having trouble knowing when your steps end, when you're going up the staircase, you can have this hand railing and put paracord on the top of it so you know when it's going to be the last step. And the third option is going to be using color. Now, when you're in your medicine cabinet and you have all of these medication bottles that are all white, all the same pill bottle, but they're different prescriptions, one way to add color is by having these color dots on top. Now you can see they have different letters on them, and that's another way to distinguish them other than using color, but you could also write the time that you need to take them or how much you need to take, and that's just another way to easily see and locate whichever medication you're trying to find. Another way to add contrast is by using something called non-slip grip tape. And here's an example of what it looks like. So if you have wooden staircases or any kind of staircase, and especially with wood, it's going to be very slippery when you're putting your feet on it, or especially if you're in socks, which you should not be wearing socks. But if you are wearing socks, then it's going to be extra slippery. And when you have these wooden staircases, you can kind of see it's a little bit harder to see where one staircase starts and one staircase ends, especially if you're looking from far away. This is an up close picture, so you can kind of see the shadows of where one step starts and ends. But if you're just walking up the stairs, it can be difficult to see each step. So when you have the non-slip grip tape, you could put it right on the bottom of each step, and it'll have a differentiation between the light wood color and the black non-slip grip tape. It will also give you more traction so that there will be less slipping and sliding around on the wooden staircase as well. And because of that feature, you can also use it in your bathroom, because the bathroom gets slippery with all the water. So it'll also add some traction in there as well. The last topic we will be looking at is texture contrast. Velcro is another texture that could add contrast as well. So if you have bifocal glasses, it's going to be very dangerous when you're walking down the stairs, because if you're looking through the bottom half of your glasses, because it magnifies in the bifocal glasses, it's going to distort your depth perception, or you're not going to be able to tell how far away the stairs are and where you need to put your foot next. So when you're going down any stairs, you should be using the hand railing on the side. And one way to know when the stairs end is by having a piece of Velcro, because it is such a contrasting color when it's a black on white railing. And the Velcro has a spiky side and a fluffy side. So you want to put the fluffy side on the hand railing so that you can see it, but it's also a texture contrast because you can feel the fluffy side. It's kind of like with the paracord as well at the top of the railing when I was talking about visual contrast. It adds both visual and texture, so you can feel it or you can see it. So when you think about texture, you might think about finding specific areas that feel different, such as something that's bumpy versus something that's smooth. An example of this is a microwave that's completely black, and even the button that you push to open it is black, and it's all smooth. But if you add some anti-slip grip tape to the button here, then you can move your hand across it and you will just feel smooth, and once you get to the bumpy part, you'll know that's where the button is that you need to push to open the microwave. So it's a great alternative to using color. You can use contrast, texture contrast, to know where that button is. Other than using anti-slip grip tape on the microwave, you can also put it onto objects such as a hairbrush or a crochet needle, so it makes it easier to hold on to those objects even if you have a hand or wrist brace on. Or even if it's just hard to hold on to smaller objects like a crochet hook, it gives it more texture and more grip for you to hold on to and less likely for it to fall. Thank you so much for watching!